The American Italian Cultural Center and Museum on South Peters in New Orleans offers event venue space, Italian language classes, dual citizenship and translation services, seminars, genealogy, and trips to Italy. Ciao, AmericanItalianCulturalCenter.com. This program is brought to you in part by the Eugenie and Joseph Jones Family Foundation, a local foundation proud to support education, the arts, and culture in the greater New Orleans area.
I'm Peggy Scott Laborde, and welcome to Steppin' Out with updates from the local restaurant, arts, and entertainment scenes. Joining me, Poppy Tooker, host of Louisiana Eats on WWNO Radio. Hey, Miss Poppy.
Hello, Peg.
We're thrilled. Damone Melanson, artist and big chief of the Young Seminole Hunters. Welcome to our show.
Hey.
And Damone, and I'm so thrilled I can say, and I know your mama
Yeah.
for a long, long time.
Yes,
So it's great to
indeed.
see you too.
Great to see you. Thank you.
And I know you knew your daddy.
Oh, awesome.
Jacques Rodrigue, Executive Director of the George Rodrigue Foundation of the Arts. Welcome to our show. And of course, we can't forget Alan Smason,
No, don't.
editor of the Crescent City Jewish News and theatercriticism.com. Howdy, Alan.
Hey, hey.
Poppy, you have been sharing some meals, and you've got a few more.
Well, you know, it's culinary time, so everybody's watching those culinary menus. But remember last week we had the bargain of the week, the commissary, dinner for 4 for $40. Well, Copeland's is celebrating 40 years still this year, and so they have a deal. It's 4 courses feeding 2 plus for $40, and this is all Copeland's to go. You start off with artichoke and spinach dip, or maybe their delicious fried broccoli appetizer, the shrimp and tasso pasta that's been a favorite there since 1983 when Al invented it is one of the options, chicken parm, or even a burger. And then, oh my goodness, for dessert, there's the 40th anniversary Chantilly cheesecake, or there's also brownie deluxe a la mode. It's all to go, only $40. I mean, this is really a great, cheap treat. Now, one of my favorite restaurants, Casa Borrega, very quietly, you know, Hugh Montero is back. And this is where I found him this week, last Sunday, at the Crescent City Farmers Market, where he is there serving every Sunday and every Tuesday, 8 a.m. till noon. He's serving breakfast tacos, chicken and beef tacos. His horchata is unlike any I've ever, it's not like sweet, sweet, sweet like they most are. Best ever. And of course, he's open again on
that's big
Aretha Castle
news.
Haley,
Yeah.
and that's Wednesday through Saturday. He's there from 5 until 9. But catch him at the farmers market. Okay, now for something completely different. Are you sick of all of the hunters or the fishermen's frozen food in your freezer? Sometimes I don't know what to do with the venison myself. Well, Hunters for the Hungry is hosting Clean Out Your Freezer. It's actually a week, August the 21st through the 27th. Back in March, of course, they announced that the freshly harvested game program was going to include hogs, which you can kill 12 months out the year because they're eating our levees, for goodness sake. Well, they are accepting all properly packaged, labeled, and dated frozen food that they distribute then to 5 different food banks. Last year, Hunters for the Hungry brought in 49,000 pounds of protein, which resulted in 196 free meals for the hungry. This is a great program. You know you don't want that old white trout anymore. It doesn't last longer than about a month. Now, here's another big food flash. If you don't have a chance to eat whole hog barbecue, the master himself, Ed Mitchell, his son Ryan, they wrote this incredible book. They're having an event this Sunday at the Turkey and the Wolf. They're going to be serving their whole hog barbecue. It is, of course, from Baldwin and Company. They're sponsoring the event. So it's a ticketed event. One ticket gets you just the book. One ticket gets you the book and the whole hog barbecue. Turkey and the Wolf on Sunday. It starts at 6. And then just a little news flash about something different that you might not know unless I tell you about, and that's Birdie's Intergalactic Diner at Carrollton Station, Tuesdays through Fridays, 6 until midnight. And this is Trey Rintala's incredible food. He really has like his fine dining chops together. He was formerly at Mo Bar, and every week the menu changes. It's always a heavy sandwich thing. Like this week they've got crispy fish Caesar sandwich, a Creole tomato sandwich, but how about a burrata melon that is a salad with roasted corn, sunflower seeds, and balsamic. Every time, though, he keeps, did you see what that is? That was the mac and cheese pancakes, and that's always on the menu along with the PB&J wings, the dirty popcorn. It's really just a fun, crazy little night out. So go to Birdie's Intergalactic Diner.
Where else would you find an intergalactic diner, right?
I know. I expect
you,
to
Poppy.
see some out-of-space folks
That's
there
right.
sometime soon.
Well, Damone, I know very much a part of your life is being Big Chief of the Young Seminole Hunters, but how wonderful also that you've been able to incorporate the artistry that you've learned over all those years following, I know, your role models as many of the Indian chiefs, and that you can make a living doing this too. So let's first talk about Arthur Roger Gallery and your new show.
So Arthur Roger, my show, first, thanks for having me. And thank you
Absolutely.
for having me with all these wonderful people.
Oh,
But my show is at Arthur Roger Gallery, the wonderful Arthur Roger Gallery. It opened up White Linen Night. It's called Lock Stitch. And so Lock Stitch is the way that I sew the beads. It's a technique. And so the works that are on view at the show right now are works that I have been working on throughout the pandemic. I hadn't had a show in 3 years, so
Look at
Yeah,
Booker, James
yeah.
Booker there. Oh,
yeah,
wow.
James Booker.
James Carroll Booker III.
I love that piece because I started doing those pieces at Jazz Fest, so that's one of my signature New Orleans pieces with the Dr. John, and I did a Satchmo.
Here's Satchmo right
Yeah,
here, which I
Satchmo.
understood is sold.
Yeah,
but I
so-
bet you could do another one if you were
yes,
asked
indeed.
to.
If I was asked to, yes,
So
indeed.
inclined. How many hours? The panels are fairly large. huh?
Yeah. They're nice size.
Any idea how many hours we're talking about for something
Yeah,
like
for
that?
me and my wife helps me. So we talking about a day. In a day, I sew 16 hours a day. Yeah, I sleep the rest. Yeah, but I'm working on my pieces. Those
And
pieces.
look at this.
Yeah, Elton John.
Elton John, his real
Yeah,
name being.
Yeah. So people inspire me. The people that inspire me: music, jazz greats, iconic people from New Orleans. You know, all kind of things in the diaspora, the African diaspora. That's what captures me, and that's what I like, and that's what I do.
But those beads, they look big there, but they're really smaller. And we're
Yeah.
talking about really hundreds to thousands of hours. on
Yes,
each one of
indeed.
these.
Oh, yeah. So my suit is I would think it's 1,000,000 hours. but those pieces take me at least 2 to 3 months to make a piece. So, and I've gotten better in 30 years of beading, so I try to do 2 at a time.
Yeah. And we do have a photo of you as chief and coming out, and that is almost a 365-day-a-year effort, too.
Yes, indeed. So, yeah, the suits.
Look at that. Is magnificent.
Yeah,
oh, my God.
that suit is called Ja Defender. So that suit is on display at the African American Museum in South Carolina right now.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Congratulations. Yeah. And you very much learned from, as we said, other black masking Indian chiefs.
Yeah, my
I mean,
elder. So my elder, Ferdinand Bigard Sr.,
Oh, yeah.
he's passed on. He taught me how to bead. He was the first person that taught me how to bead. And then my big chief, he's still living. He's the big chief, Keto Jones. He's with the Seminole. And I'm the offspring of the Seminole, the young Seminole hunters.
Congratulations on
Yes,
that
ma'am.
too.
Thank you so much.
But I mean, you're not kidding. Most of the time you were at that table.
Yeah, I just left the table to come here. Yeah, I just left the table. Yeah, I sew all day. I start in the morning. I love watching Hold a Copy. I watch that, and then I make my coffee. Then I have 5 Frenchies. I have 5 French bulldogs, and so I have a happy and a very, very busy life. Yeah.
taking care of them.
Yes,
Now let me
ma'am.
ask you, just in terms of the process, do you sit down first and just make a sketch?
Yeah, so
Okay.
I make a sketch. I study what I'm trying to bead, and I make a sketch, and then I make it on canvas. And sometimes I use our modern day camera obscura. I use the projector to project some of my work. So, but yeah, I sketch it, and then I outline the whole thing. Then I come back and I put the colors in. I don't use any color codes. All my colors come from
Gee whiz.
the Most High.
Well, I know one thing, and I talk about the size of the beads because that's important to you, that
Yes,
you
ma'am.
prefer to use smaller beads.
Yeah, because
Why?
I love the small beads because that's what I learned how to bead with. The big beads didn't come into the 2000s for me. Tandy Leather used to be in New Orleans, and that's why we got all our beads. And so all the beads that we started sewing with in the early 1990s were seed beads. And so that technique is what beats everybody with your big chief suit. So, and then I'm able to do more detail. All the detail that I love, I pay a lot of attention to detail because I study painters. I study Kerry James Marshall, Kayinde Wiley, Toyin Oji Tolo. So I study the greats, and so I want my work to look like the greats.
Now, where do you get your beads? Do you have to send off with those now? or
Yeah,
your
so
feathers?
I went to New York about 5 years ago, and I met a man named Mr. Carl at CJSL's. He's probably, now he might be 89. And so I went to this place up in New York, and he had boxes of beads everywhere, but I had been following him off of Instagram. And Miss Roots West, one of my best friends, one of my good friends, she helped me in my beginning of my art career, and she came with us. And she's one of my collectors, so she came with us, and she helped me buy $5,000 worth of beads.
Shoo,
And
whiz,
so
that's a
now,
lot of beads.
so now I have all the beads. I have a lot. I have vintage beads. I have a wall in my house with more beads than any bead shop in New Orleans.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Well, once again, congratulations.
Thank
And
you so much.
ArthurRogerGallery.com, and you
Yep.
can see
Yep.
those wonderful. Now, would you call them beaded panels? You don't say painting. What would you say?
So I call my hand, I paint with beads, but I call it a beaded patch.
A beaded patch.
Yes,
okay.
ma'am.
I was curious about what is the correct thing to say on that. Well, yay. I'm so
Thank
glad
you.
to see you.
Thank you so
Hello.
much.
And we turn to Jacques. And Jacques, my goodness, first of all, congratulations on so many things. But I know we're here to really talk about also the Pot and the Palette Cookbook too. And this is an outgrowth of making the foundation even stronger, because it starts with contests and giving funds away to help the regional art departments. Tell us about all that.
Yeah, so Dad started this foundation in 2010, and it was originally started out of the relief efforts post-Katrina, helping organizations around the city, and eventually he wanted to be more proactive to how he gave back. And for years, students and teachers had been painting blue dogs and sending things to us, and so it felt like a natural mission for us to really support the arts. And so many people think the arts are just about fluff, but the research, once we really understood it and Dad understood it, showed up how essential they are to student development.
Now, just to say that you all did one 10 years ago, and what this contains in terms of cookbooks is recipes by some of the state's most talented chefs, and including Chef Meg Bigford and lots of New Orleans representation, Susan Spicer. But then the actual, and of course, it's dedicated to Paul Prudhomme. And your dad and Chef Prudhomme were really good buds.
Of course, Dad always credited Chef with putting the word Cajun on the map. He said if without these portraits of the Cajuns that Dad was doing, no one would have known what they were if Chef hadn't have made the food of South Louisiana so well known across the country and the world. And so we were honored to work with Magic Seasoning and to honor Chef Paul with this book.
Now, of course, beautifying this book, in addition to the great recipes, though, are actual images, paintings by the art winners.
Yeah, we're in our 13th year of our art contest. And
Scholarships,
so
giving away scholarships.
Yeah, it's for high school students. And, we get hundreds of inches of a year from students all across the state. And they're just really, really talented. And so
They really are. We're going to show you some. I'm just amazed by how talented, too. I mean, this, and I understand this was the first place, placed first in the senior division, but it's hysterical, fresher than expected.
yeah, and the winners, we actually get to take their works and tour it to museums across the state. And so no matter where they're from in the state, they get to go and visit their work in a museum. And a lot of people would think that maybe these students all would go on and major in art, but so many of them go into different fields. That art spark gets them their creative juices flowing, and they can study and do whatever they want to do.
That is, look how beautiful that is. What a great confidence builder to see your work of art, something you actually created, up on that wall. Well, I know you know that. but as a high school student, wow, that is just, look at that. I mean, it almost looks like a photograph, doesn't it?
Yes, indeed.
Yeah, beautiful.
Yeah, luckily we're not judges, so so it's an independent process.
Look, and
of
this,
how-
how dear is this? So you're going to have a book launch next Thursday, and tell us about that.
Yeah, it's at the Garden District Bookshop, and you can buy a book and enjoy some great food from Magic Seasoning and Dickie Brennan, and meet some of us, and hopefully some artists will be there too.
Well, absolutely. And we should point out the various price points there. That's if you just want to go to the reception, or if you want to go to the reception, hopefully buy a book, or if you have two people who are going to the reception, but you just need one book. So that's why it's sort of the breakdown on that. But Jacques, I'm sure people always say, do you paint? But you don't, do
Yeah,
you?
my standard answer is I have no talent.
But you kind of keep it together.
Yeah, the business and the legal side of the work was always fascinating.
So you're an attorney.
So we carry on everything that we can and share Dad every day.
Well, congratulations. Also, you have a program, and once again, by going to the website of the foundation, where you all give back to other local nonprofits in terms of giving posters that are
it's a print donation program that Dad started.
Yeah.
He would get hundreds of
and
requests
funds are raised
all the time
by the nonprofits.
And so these select Blue Dog prints are available only to nonprofits for their auctions.
All right, very good. Thank you so much. And over to Alan.
Well, the news from Tulane Summer Lyric Theater has been universally sad this week at the passing of B. Michael Howard, the former artistic director there, who had starred, directed, and essentially produced so many of the highly regarded musicals that we've come to love every summer. Aside from the founder, Frank Monachino, Michael Howard was probably the biggest influence over Summer Lyric, especially after he assumed the post of artistic director in 1997. Michael came to Tulane by way of Mississippi from Laurel High School, and that was where he reportedly directed, played piano, and did the tech work on a number of student productions. Wow. Here he is, a talented actor himself, playing, of course, Fagin. He played Harold Hill in The Music Man, a decade apart in two different productions, and anyone who saw him in La Cage aux Folles as Alban can absolutely attest to his versatility. But what he was to everyone who came into the Summer Lyric Theater world was a mentor and a teacher.
And a gentleman.
He was very demanding, there is no doubt about that, but he always knew what he wanted out of every one of his students, and he pushed them to perform at the top of their powers. And that was the same for his recent students, like Jordan Lawrence there, and it was especially for those he favored on a long-term basis. And there was no one Michael preferred more to see on a stage as a leading lady than Elizabeth Liz Argus, who by her count starred in 16 musicals under his direction and played all the major roles that you can imagine as well, and 4 others. She was Victor and Victoria, Norma Desmond, Mama Rose, Dolly Levi, Desiree Armfeld, Annie Mame, Adelaide, Annie Oakley, Maria, and many, many others. Again, here's a shot with Michael. This is my favorite shot of him in the center holding court with other artistic directors, Michael McKelvey and C. Leonard Rabin, to the north and south respectively, and a host of others including the Claverys, Janet Shea, Diane Lala, Leslie Castay, the Fushis, leading man Chris Carey, and even even Sean Patterson up in the right-hand corner. Michael leaves behind a very sad but a very grateful Summer Lyric community. His legacy will always be a lasting impression on all of his students through time. And, of course, keeping the highest standards for the work that will certainly follow him. Michael was 80 at the time of his death. No word yet on any kind of memorial to celebrate his life, but hopefully we will announce that when we have notice. Now, we move on from an untimely end to an auspicious beginning, and this is for the finals for the 2023 Stage Door Idol competition. We had that on Tuesday night. They had 6 people who were the finalists. There were, of course, including the wild card, Whitney Mixon, who, again, was the second year in a row the wild card, and all sang incredibly well. But when the judges' votes were cast, Whitney Mixon was crowned the winner. And this, of course, with that win, she wins a $2,000 prize and an ensemble for the 1940s from the museum for next year. But again, she'll have to give her a crowd then. But guess what? She was one of the only 2 people that I know of to win as a wild card, the other one being Spencer Rocca, the only man to win the title that you may remember. Now, Whitney's part of a very talented family. Here she is with her sisters Jessica and Olivia, who both starred this summer in Little Shop of Horrors. And there she is with her siblings, her mom, and other family members. Fat, I have to tell you, they are all very talented. I'm going to just leave it at that. Congratulations to Whitney, and again next year if you're hopeful. Now, Fat Squirrel Productions, they are turning William Shakespeare on his ear with Starcross. It's directed by the director Andrea Watson and Stephanie Garrison, who are the editors on this. Imagine, if you will, a way to kind of pair Romeo, that's Drew Stroud, with Mercutio, Andrea Watson, and you know, they don't die like they're supposed to, like T-Bone. The action takes place in a forest outside of Athens, like in A Midsummer Night's Dream, but nothing beyond that is the same. The dialogue is straight from the bard, but the situations are quite different. Starcross is subtitled A Midsummer Nightmare. And we had Hermia there on the left, played by Hannah Darty, and Kyle Dagobont and Chloe Costello as her parents, Aegis and Lady Aegis, and James Wright as Theseus, who's supposed to be the Duke of Athens, who, of course, defeats the Amazons. He supposedly conquers them, like Maddie Fry and Gil Box there, but boy, is he due for a wake-up call when he deals with his wife, Hippolyta, played with mucho fuego by Elise McDaniel, and you'll have to see it to understand what I'm talking about. And while there's a lot of enchantment in Starcross, as in A Midsummer Night's Dream, there's always something at odds with the way Shakespeare had intended it. Although not pictured, a shout-out to Mary Pauley for her fine work, and also Desiree Burrell as Helena and Ryan Bruce as Tybalt. Anybody who doesn't know the stories probably won't appreciate this wacky rendering, but it's not for everybody. But if there are some people out there who are interested, the changes will make you think, hey, what if? Starcross has 4 more shows at Big Couch. That's on St. Claude and Desire. Go in through the Desire Street entrance. Coming up in just a few weeks, Peg, the Le Petit fundraiser of the year. That's called the Curtain Call Ball. The Curtain Call Ball. And now for a scoop. We just learned that Tony Award winner actress Beth Level, you see there, of The Drowsy Chaperone of the Prom, will be back in New Orleans as their special Broadway performer that night. Beth is one of the truly great, gifted Broadway belters. You won't want to miss her. And also check out again the cost is $150 for the young performers, $250 for the fellows who are the other people. Real quick, finally, JPS is providing a musical dealing with the fire at the Upstairs Lounge here in New Orleans. It's been presented elsewhere in the world, but the view upstairs will be in September. Marshall Harris designed the parquet floors and the set, and he and the director Jack Lambert will be my guest at the NOLA Theater Talk Show on Monday night at a special time at 8:30.
All right, thank you very much. And now time for our picks of the week. Poppy.
Well, you know, oysters are delicious even in the summertime, contrary to old folks' story. But anyway, 7 days a week from 3 to 5 p.m., $2 oysters and specially priced wine at the beautiful Chemin à la Mer.
All right, Damone, website.
TheMamaLonsar.com. That's me. Yep.
Very good. And it's beautifully done. And there's a great
Thank you.
documentary in there,
Thank
too.
you so much.
Congratulations. Jacques.
Yeah, our website's RodrigueFoundation.org. It's the best place to buy a cookbook.
Alan.
JPS is having the American Ballet Theater's junior company. They're known as the Studio Company. They're going to be at the JPAC on Airline Drive for one night only, Friday, November the 10th. For tickets, go to jpas.org or call them at 504-885-2000. I'll see you at the theater.
All right, now my picks, and thanks to the Hellas Foundation. As a Louisiana resident, you can visit either the New Orleans Museum of Art, the Ogden, or the Contemporary Art Center for free for the next 2 Saturdays. The only asterisk is that there is a charge to get into the Fashioning America exhibit at NOMA. The free admission campaign is called Art and AC. Go to hellisfoundation.org for details. New Orleanian and Loyola grad James McCordle will perform as a fundraiser for the Amici organization Sunday. He's on the Met roster and has performed all over the world. The Amici group helps organize Met opera finals in New Orleans and provides support to local winners. The concert is this Sunday, August the 19th. Tickets are $40 for Amici members, $50 for non-members. The location is the beautiful Felicity Church at 1220 Felicity Street. That's between Camp and Coliseum. Security provided. You can go to AmiciSummerGala.eventbrite.com or purchase tickets at the door. But it's very excited. And one of the actually performances that James is doing is actually a Schumann piece, and he is playing. He's also a very talented pianist. He's playing while he's singing at the same time. Pretty good, pretty versatile, huh?
Was he
Isn't that
involved with
wonderful?
Champion at all at the Met? I'm trying to remember.
Not to my knowledge,
Okay.
not to my knowledge, but he's played all over the place, including, of course, the Met too. Thank you all so much.
Yes, indeed.
Thanks for watching. Good night.
The American Italian Cultural Center and Museum on South Peters in New Orleans offers event venue space, Italian language classes, dual citizenship and translation services, seminars, genealogy, and trips to Italy. Ciao, AmericanItalianCulturalCenter.com. This program is brought to you in part by the Eugenie and Joseph Jones Family Foundation, a local foundation proud to support education, the arts, and culture in the greater New Orleans area.